What's up, boys? I'm Drew.
And I'm Ethan.
Today we're going to be doing some exhaust work on the 2014 Honda Civic Si. Old exhaust out. Has one too many cats. And then the new exhaust that I've got is gonna allow the engine to breathe a lot better, providing maybe a few more horsepower and just overall sound quality. Just wanted to kind of walk through how I got to this point where I've got the old exhaust out and I'm ready to put the new exhaust in. Around here on the front of the car is where you're gonna have to start. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the cowl, the windshield cowl out. Also have to take the wipers out. There's bolts here for the wipers on either side. Not too hard to get the cowl out. I did run into a few issues with the bolts here. I watched a few videos, there were different sizes, but these ones are actually 12 millimeters. These ones here instead of 10. So we'll make this underneath the car short and simple. It really is kind of short and simple. There's just 3 bolts here, 1, 2, 3 on this exhaust flange. I did have a tough time getting to these top bolts, and there was a few that were kind of rusted on there. Simple fix for that, just spray some PB Blaster on there, maybe take a wire brush and try and clean it off, go back and forth with the nut to try and get it off of that stud. But you should be able to get it off if you work at it hard enough. Next thing is getting it out of the exhaust hanger here and also detached from the upper flange from the upper pipe. So on that one, it's gonna be 2 exhaust spring bolts, or bolt and spring. So there's just a nut on this side. I was able to get to it from underneath up here. Unscrew that. I believe they were 14s, maybe 12s. Probably 14s. Unscrew that, and then there's one underneath here that was actually easier to get to from the top. You're gonna have the top pipe that comes into a bell mouth at the back of the engine here, or at the rear of the engine. And there's 2 bolts and 2 nuts that are attached to the engine here. But to get to that, you're gonna have to take 2 heat shields off. One is gonna be up here at the top, right where the bell mouth connects to the engine. And the second one is gonna be kind of down below on the back side of the catalytic converter. So, to get the top one off, it's just a couple, 2 screws on either side. They're 10 millimeters. Very simple. Take that. Well, in order to get that one off, you're gonna have to also take the O2 sensor out. You could use a 7/8 wrench, but it is way easier with the 7/8 O2 sensor socket that has a little cutout on the side to fit the wire into. That way, it makes it a lot easier, and there's actually a guard there, so you basically have to use the O2 sensor socket. Took the rest of the downpipe off from the bottom, except for maybe these top 2 bolts here on the bell mouth of the rear of the engine. We got 2 from the top. So you will have to change the engine mount on this one, or at least take it out. I opted to go ahead and get a new engine mount, rear engine mount for this, but you will have to take it out in order to kind of sway the engine, move the engine forward a little bit in order to actually remove the downpipe from the car. This is a Skunk 2 Alpha Series header is what they call it, or downpipe. I've also seen it called for a 2012 to 2015 Honda Civic Si, basically anything with a K24Z7 engine code. This was straight from skunk2.com, skunk2racing.com, and looks like it is all in one piece. So this is gonna be a lot different than the little 2-piece design that was kind of funky and weird with the little angle. Actually, you can pan the camera and see the little angle there that kind of restricts the flow of the exhaust and just is not good for any noise or horsepower at all. More ponies. In order to put this O2 sensor in, we had to put this 90° to help it better read the airflow and oxygen. In order to do that, we had to put it at the right angle. We kind of wanted it at this angle in order to have the best fitment possible, and we had to use the jam nut that they provided us in order to get that angle. This is your upstream air-fuel ratio sensor. In other words, it just plugs in here. We were able to get the socket, the O2 sensor socket on there, where it has that gap for the wires, and then it plugs in back over here, back when we took it off. These two nuts and 2 screws that connect the bell mouth to the engine, they were a little tricky. The reason why it was so tricky for us was because we had put the exhaust flange on the back side in before we attempted to put these 4 on. So if you're doing this at home, make sure you put those 4 on before you put the rear exhaust flange on. That'll kind of help tidy things up on the install.
All right, so we are now ready to do some tune. This is the Honda Flash Pro Manager. Got our Honda Flash Pro, cool dealy bob. So what we're looking for here, we got the OBD2 plugged into the computer. Turn the ignition to the on mode, and then we'll have an ECU right there. So we are all connected. So if you are going to take the tune that you already went on there, or that you already have on the vehicle, and you want to just do some changes to it, you'll usually just go to download. You can make some changes and then upload it. But we are going to do a new calibration because I think Honda has got a pretty close base map on here, which would be short ram, cat delete, cat back. We're probably just going to see how this does, maybe make some changes in the future if it's not running quite up to par. So as it loads, it's actually going to show up on your RPM gauge there, which is pretty cool. So now it's at like, what, 15%, 20%?
Currently uploading tune to ECU.
Slow and steady.
Welcome back to the video. It's been about 2-3 weeks now since I installed it, and figured we'd get some sound clips of the exhaust since I took a look on the internet and there's not really a whole lot of exhaust clips out there on this particular setup with the Takeda AFE powered exhaust, the catback, and then the Skunk 2 Alpha on the header here. Downpipe is what they call it online. And so today is just going to be a little montage of some sound bites and some flybys, and let's get straight into it.